How's it going, guys? NeedlessSpace here, and welcome to the channel with Destiny 2 guides that don't waste your time. So Bungie has announced huge news today as far as Stasis goes. They've been listening to the player base and they realized that Stasis has been dominating PvP, and they want to make some changes to keep all classes somewhat balanced across the board while still keeping Stasis fun in PvE. So they said they have a long roadmap planned out to implement these changes in balancing Stasis, some of which won't be until Season 15, but a huge chunk of these changes and balancing are going to be released on June 3rd, a week from today. That's this upcoming Thursday. So we're going to take a look at these changes coming. So we're going to take a look in detail at what these changes are. And while I'm going through these, I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are, so feel free to let me know down below in the comments. So starting off with general Stasis changes. The Stasis freeze, they reduce the duration of all non-super freezes versus players to 1.35 seconds. And since this is too short to actually spam and break out of the freeze, they made it to where you don't have to break out of being frozen if it's not from a super. They reduced special weapon, heavy weapon, and light ability bonus damage versus frozen players from 50% to 5%. That is a huge difference, so players aren't going to take as much damage while they're frozen. As far as Stasis Slow no longer reduces the weapon accuracy, now increases weapon flinch when under fire. So you won't be less accurate while slowed down, you'll just flinch more while getting hit. No longer suppresses class ability and air moves like Icarus Dash, and they reduce the movement speed penalty while slowed by roughly 20%. The Whisper of Hedron's fragment no longer increases weapon damage after freezing, and it now increases weapon stability, weapon aim assist, mobility, resilience, and recovery after freezing. Whisper of Rhyme fragment no longer provides overshield while in super. As far as the Cold Snap grenade, the Seeker no longer tracks targets after initial target acquisition, and increased arming duration before Seeker spawns from 0.3 seconds to 0.8 seconds. Reduced detonation radius versus players from 3 meters to 1.5 meters, and now bounces off walls and detonates on the ground. Now let's take a look at the subclasses and their changes that they're going to be receiving. So starting with the Titan Behemoth, Shiver Strike is getting reduced flight speed and distance, reduced knockback versus players, and removed slow detonation on player impact. Cryoclasm now requires the Titan to sprint for 1.25 seconds before activation when not in super, and the cooldown has been removed. Howl of the Storm, reduced angle and initial freezing damage cone, reduced crystal creation freezing radius, slowed down sequences of crystal formation to allow victims more opportunity to escape, and now spawns small crystals on walls if performed into walls. Glacial Quake is getting reduced heavy slam vertical freeze range versus players, and reduced damage resistance from 50% to 47%. Next are the changes for the Hunter Revenant. So Withering Blade, reduced slow duration versus players from 2.5 seconds to 1.5 seconds, reduced Whisper of Duration slow duration extension versus players from 2 seconds to 0.5 seconds, reduced damage versus players from 65 to 45, reduced projectile speed by 10%, reduced tracking after bouncing off a wall. That's a huge one in my opinion right there. Winter Shroud, reduced slow duration versus players from 2.5 seconds to 1.5 seconds, reduced Whisper of Duration slow duration extension versus players from 2.5 seconds to 0.5 seconds, and Touch of Wither. Cold Snap Seeker no longer has increased movement speed or travel distance, and Cold Snap Seeker now spawns a small stasis crystal on detonation. Last but not least, the Warlock Shadebinder. So the Penumbral Blast, reduced tracking and proximity detonation size and tracking versus players, reduced freeze radius versus players when impacting the environment from 2.7 meters to 1.5 meters. Ice Flare Bolts, the Seeker now only chains once when spawned from a player shatter. Winter's Wrath, freezing projectile tracking strength now ramps down to 0 after 2 seconds of flight. So wow guys, some huge changes. I do appreciate how most of these changes are only going to affect PvP, but there are still so many changes coming in, it's really hard to tell if this is going to balance it out very well, or if it's just going to drill Stasis straight into the ground. I want to know what you guys think down below in the comments, and if you can appreciate quick Destiny 2 guides, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you guys in the next one, and as always, good luck and have fun.